Hi, my name's Phil. I like to talk about politics. In this video, I'd like to discuss a sentiment which drew a lot of attention based on an article by an MP yesterday that runs along the lines of, well, Brexit's done now. There's no quick way back. We're all going to have to work together to make the best of it. No. It's my strong intention that I will pull in the direction that moves the UK back to the EU with all speed. And if others wish to pull in that direction, great, fantastic. That's the aim. Anyone else will be pulling apart, not together. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, the article, which I'll link in the description below, is entitled "Enough of Remainers and Leavers, We're All in This Together Now." Except we're not, really, are we? The people behind Brexit, and the author is not one of them. I'll get onto the author in a bit. The people behind Brexit have got their EU passports still. French, German, Italian, Irish, wherever. Some couldn't get those. Some weren't entitled to them. So do you know what they did? They just paid for one. A Maltese one. Many of them have retained their full EU rights, whilst not only dooming the rest of us to a reduced level of rights and freedoms in the UK, but actively campaigning for it. Some of these people actively campaign for the removal of rights from us, the rest of us, whilst maintaining their own. That's straight up hypocrisy. Little aside actually, because some people have been making quite a lot in the last few days of Stanley Johnson, who is Boris Johnson's father. And he's applying for a French passport, and people are going, oh, you know, it's all right them, you know, arguing for Brexit, and then they're getting these passports. I have to say, on this particular issue, it's not a story. Stanley Johnson is an arsehole. He is an arsehole. He's shown this year, not least of which during the pandemic, because he absolutely didn't pull together. There was no solidarity from him at all. On at least 4 occasions, he has been photographed not wearing a face mask in a place where legally you are obliged to wear a face mask. By his own admission, he's not exempt. But he's not a Brexiteer. He's not campaigned for Brexit. As far as I can tell, his entire family have actively campaigned against Brexit. It's only Boris Johnson in that family that turned on the Brexit side, and that was just for political power. So this isn't the story of Brexiteer gets EU passport. That Boris Johnson would be able to get one should he want one is perhaps a more serious issue. So, this idea of all in it together. No, we're not by a long shot. Now, the author of this particular article is Jess Phillips. As I said, she's not one of the Brexiteers. She's a Labour MP. And I have to say, for those who may not know who she is actually one of the good ones. When I say that, obviously she's a Labour MP. I'm going to agree with most Labour MPs. But there are even Conservative MPs that I will at least say are genuine. In other words, they believe what they say. And they're honest enough within that. Not very many of them. I can disagree with them that they are at least genuine. She's one of those. She is very genuine, very caring, very selfless as an MP, and I think people who know her would agree with that. I have no doubts that she's been genuine in this article that she wrote as well, just because I disagree with it. In fact, if you read her article, and I do recommend that you do, it is a thoughtful piece and certainly represents a very genuine point of view. You know, the one of the points in it is that people should not continue to be defined as either Remainer or Leaver, you know, for the rest of their lives. And although we're not all in it together, the vast majority of us are actually in the same mess. Being frank, it will take a very long time to re-enter the EU. Very long time. A long time measured at least in years. Some may say decades. I hope not. Could do. Certainly years. Do we really want to spend all that time with the nation continuing to be divided? Ideally, no. That being said, those who support Brexit, in government or outside it, have never made any attempt whatsoever to bridge the gap between Leavers and Remainers, so they have no right to expect the same in return. They can make the best of Brexit. They have no right to insist that others do so. And it's do you know what it sounds like, this called, oh, we should all pull together now? And not, as I say, from Jess Phillips, but from Brexiteers in general when they say it. It's a little bit like a management trick. I don't know whether anyone's come across this. So I've sometimes not done myself any favours in work when I've disagreed with managers. Now, I always, at the end of the day, if I If a manager comes out with a brainless scheme and I say, that's a brainless scheme, this will go wrong, this will go wrong, this will go wrong, maybe you'd like to adapt it and do this instead, you'll get your same aims and it won't be an arse up. Now, if they go, no, we're doing it this way, I'm making the decisions, fine, that's okay by me. I'll go along with it. But the thing is, when it goes wrong along the lines I said it would go wrong, I will come back and say, I told you so. Would you like to listen to me now? Some managers don't really like that. Some do, I'm fine, some have been fine. Some of them haven't. So they'd rather get what they call, what is it now? Agreement. I can't think of the actual word. It's gone out my head now. But they want to get consensus. There we go. They'd like to get consensus. They'd like everyone to agree. And you know why they want everyone to agree. Because when it goes wrong, well, everyone agreed to it. No. I'll be the one sitting there when it all goes wrong going, told you that'd happen. I mean, if it goes wrong in a way I didn't foresee, fair enough. We are all in it together. But if it goes wrong in a way that I did foresee, it's like, I did tell you, you chose to ignore it. This is on you, not me. And this is my attitude here. Absolutely my attitude here. My perception is very simple. I'm not a complicated person. We do not need to make the best of Brexit. We need to make the best of our country. I agree with that. And the best for my country is membership of arguably the most powerful political force in the world. We weren't just one member at the table either. I'm not delusional. The EU isn't some round table of equals. It's a political force, and like all political forces, it's not equal. You know, we were one of the big three decision makers. There is barely an EU rule in existence that was not either the brainchild of the UK or supported enthusiastically by our government. Now that's gone. It's all gone. Every EU rule that comes into force from now on will not be influenced by the UK at all. But we'll still have to adopt plenty of them, directly or indirectly. Might be indirectly in terms of equivalent standards if we don't want tariffs slapped on everything, but we will still be following those rules. Brexit has made us rule takers, no longer rule makers. It's really this simple for me. While the UK remains outside the EU, our ambitions will always have a glass ceiling. We will never realise our potential on our own. With unity comes strength. That's one of the very few things that I always regard as true, having no exceptions. This is something that defines me because I choose it to define me. Without EU membership, the UK will always weaker than it could be. And so, of course, I'm not going to work with people who trashed my country to make the best of Brexit. Because do you know what the best of Brexit is? It's still a whole lot worse than the worst of EU membership. Because there are things about EU membership you can call downsides. There are, of course. But those downsides don't even compare to the downsides of Brexit, of being isolated on a rain-soaked island full of sheep, both real and metaphorical. And don't get me wrong, I completely understand the position of a politician like Jess Phillips. Like I said, she's completely genuine. She campaigned to keep the UK in the EU very robustly. She wasn't quiet about it. People that know her again know that she's not a shrinking violet. She represents a strongly Leave area as well. She has to try and unify her constituents. That's her job. In fact, it's her duty. I would say the same thing were I, a Labour MP or just a Labour candidate. Other parties can afford to divide communities to win power. Labour cannot, and it should not. This is why I've tried and will continue to try to persuade rejoin groups when they're plotting their route back to the EU. Don't plot a path through political parties. Political parties need to focus on forming strategies that first of all win power, because without power, politicians are not able to affect any change. People said when I sort of mentioned as well that about the routes back to the EU for me, people say, well, Scotland's got another route to the EU, independence. Yes, sure. I'm not Scottish. For me, the route back to the EU runs through a Labour government and proportional representation. Without those two things, it's impossible. Absolutely impossible. And the longer it takes to get those two things, the further down the wrong path we've trudged, and the longer it will take to get back even when we turn around. Perhaps I won't even live to see the day if it goes badly wrong and we go very far down that road. If I were a Labour MP or candidate, like I said, I too would want people to come together, to look at the issues facing them. I wouldn't get them to look at it through the prism of Brexit, because I need people who believed in Brexit to recognise the problems. The problem is that people won't recognise the problems of Brexit if they supported it. Do you know what's happening today, or yesterday as I'm doing it, yesterday as you're watching it? There were people going, they've taken VAT off tampons. We've banned pulse fishing. This was only possible by coming out the EU. Absolute rubbish. Taxes are set by national governments. Nothing to do with the EU. VAT, nothing to do with the EU. We have zero VAT, because that's what people try to counter. No, they set the rates, but the EU have the minimum rate, so they determine this minimum rate of VAT. No, we have zero VAT on lots of things. We have zero VAT on cakes, for goodness sake. I've never worked that one out. But we have zero VAT on plenty of things. Tampons is just the latest. Nothing to do with leaving the EU. Pulse fishing, that's illegal in a number of EU countries as well. It's all a load of rubbish. And the only people that can believe this stuff, because it's easy to look up, are liars or fools. You know, liars and fools are the ones who spout all this. And no, I'm not going to side with liars and fools. But what you've got to do is, as soon as you say, here's a problem, see, I can say this, but if a politician says, here's a problem, it was caused by Brexit, if people were supporting Brexit, they're straight away not going to believe you. Whereas if you just say, here's a problem, they'll accept that it's a problem. You don't have to mention Brexit. That's what Labour are trying to do, not mention the Brexit at the moment. This is a problem. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's down to Brexit or good old-fashioned Tory nastiness. Persuade as many people as possible that this is a problem that the government are not doing anything about, and Leave or Remainer, vote them out in 2024. But I'm not a politician. And as much as I'd like to persuade people to come together, I don't have to. My position is that the UK should engage with the world. And there is no better way to power that engagement than from within the EU. So I will be moving along a path that gives, the best chance of getting the UK back into the EU. It may not be the same path as other rejoiners who have different ideas about what that path looks like. For me, like I said, it doesn't run through political parties. Fatal. It needs them, but it can't run through them. After all, we're lost now. Nobody thought to bring a compass and map for this. But what I definitely will not be doing is following people who push for this. I also will not accept that we should play any part in making the best of Brexit. They shat the bed, they can clean the sheets. They were the ones who said it would be easy to deal with all the problems of Brexit, or even deny that there would be any problems. That's fine then. So when the problems arise, they can deal with them. After all, it's easy, isn't it? Don't need my help. Some of the people who enabled this have come to regret that decision. Happy to work with them. Some will realise too late. They'll realise as the year goes on, but still regret their decision. Fine. If they're willing to repair the damage, absolutely work with them too. For the ones who want to keep moving in what is clearly the wrong direction, because it's too much effort to go back even if they accept it, they can piss off. Labour are talking about a new relationship with Europe because they have to. They have to for electoral chances. The only new relationship worth pursuing that I see is membership, but recognising that it won't be on the same terms we had before. If they are right to say we can't look back, we will never get back our membership. We have to look forward to a different membership. We won't get the same great terms that we negotiated the first time round. The Leavers have already permanently cost us that. And someone, like as I said, pushing Brexit now, after everything, has to be a fool or a liar. And I'm not following them. And that group of people are Leavers. Because if they still go on about false benefits of Brexit, they are Leavers, and they're choosing to be defined as Leavers. There are lots of people who shouldn't be defined as Leaver or Remainer, even if they expressed a view. But there are people who will still be Leavers and should still be defined as Leavers because they're still carrying on with the propaganda. Just as I will always be defined as a Remainer, or rejoin you can call me now, because I'm choosing to be defined that way. I define the future of the UK as being a member of the EU. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.